Namaste and good afternoon, everyone. So we talked about risk, and I'm going to talk about what is there, what is happening globally, what are the trends in terms of technology and innovation which can drive the future, which can help insurers take care of not just the business objective, but the social cause, at large. So let me just go ahead and talk about this. So in the era of technological innovations, if you want to take care of your whatever business objectives are there, want to reach out to the masses, then you have to be ahead of the curve using the futuristic technology, using the innovative ways of doing things, and that is what can drive your business further. That's what can help you serve the society at large across geographies, across continents. So what are the global trends? How the insurers cutting across, whether the general insurers, life insurers, how they are leveraging from the technology innovation. Let's talk about that. So some of the areas where people are leveraging a lot is in terms of gamification, gamified way in engaging your consumers, customers, whether it is in terms of your service delivery, whether in terms of acquisition of a new customer, whether it is for B2C, whether it is for B2B or B2B2C, in all those areas. So there are statistics, 70% of the global 2000 companies are using gamification of the way to engage their users. Now users could be internal, external, combination of B2C, B2B, that could be there. And that is something which is benefiting. Second is in terms of chatbot and automation. We have talked about chatbot in the initial days, which was more of a tech, used not so much efficiently, but with innovative tech which is available, conversational chatbots, multilingual chatbots, something which is designed for keeping the target and audience. Take for example, if you are looking for localization out here in India, India is a vast country and we have multiple languages. Not everybody speaks English. How do you take care of conversational bots which are designed specially for this part of the woods and can benefit the consumer and customer and further the growth of the business, right? So that's another important aspect. We have talked about generative AI. It's no new thing. This is something which is impacting our daily lives every day in all walks of life, whether you talk about global or local. It's akin to any other thing that you talk about. So good old days, at the advent of internet, it was talked about. And if you can look at something which has transformed the way and going to transform the way going forward as well, is going to be the artificial intelligence and generative AI, which is not just a global trend, but locally also going to be very, very beneficial. Now, there are certain trends. By 2025, it is estimated that the businesses, they are going to be managing or managed using generative AI would be something to the tune of $1 trillion dollars. That's something that's very, very impactful. Then another impact which is being created by low code, no code. Businesses always depend on their ability. If you are looking for any innovative implementation, you have business requirements. In the ever-evolving business era, in ever-evolving business requirements, businesses always look at something which is a faster go-to-market, something where you can deliver at the speed of thought. If you want to implement some changes, then they should not go through some long sort of a period of modification, changes. And at the same time, you want to deliver those changes not just in terms of the speed of thought, but in terms of the total cost of ownership also should be optimum. You don't want to unnecessarily spend too much time building sort of a tech debt or investment, and that is where low code, no code platforms are benefiting. So there is 70%, there are certain stats, 70% of new business applications, people are looking for various low code. I'm not talking about a particular platform per se, but low code, no code as the initiative is here to stay, and this is going to make more and more impacts for global as well as for local businesses. Then comes another important aspect is when we are sitting with tons and tons of data, who is mining, what kind of analytics and insights we are leveraging from it to take well-informed decisions. And that is, again, going to be another important aspect to be looked at. So these are the trends. Now let me give you a couple of examples for gamification, how global insurance companies, especially I'm talking about the insurance. If you go beyond insurance, within BFSI itself, there are many examples. And if you go in other industry verticals, they are also going to be there. One fundamental difference, while I'm going to talk about insurance and insurers, how globally they are leveraging from this particular thing, is very important for us to know. With the consumerization of the technology, there is actually no divide between domains, industry, and verticals. If there is something which is working with Netflix and Amazon of the world, then the same would be applicable to other industry verticals as well, because on the other end of the spectrum in the B2C space especially, or even in B2B, it's a human being who's exposed to similar kind of tech and innovations, and he would not be looking at, okay, in a BFSI or an insurance, I'm okay with something which is less than perfect, right? So gamification, I'm going to talk about consciously in the insurance sector, but apart from insurance, also a lot of gamification which is happening, which also going to make waves in this. So what are the global trends? 22% of increase in customer attention by gamified engagement. Now it could be in terms of acquisition, services, post, acquisition, it could be service delivery. 70% industry leaders use gamification as their growth driver. So whenever you're looking for expansion across geography, whether you're looking for expansion across sectors, are you looking for a new business or a new product launch, then you would be looking at this particular way as a fantastic opportunity, gamification. If you look at it in the context of India, where 65% is under 35, it becomes more and more important. Whatever global trends are there, locally, because of the demographic dividend that we have in the country, this percentage is going to be even more higher. So this is a very, very important aspect for us to look at, that what is globally happening and how we can leverage in India as a country which is very vast, and at the same time, the demographic dividend which is having. 48% search in customer engagement. You can imagine if you ask any marketeer what kind of effort do they make to get these kind of numbers, and if you have certain tools and technologies which are available with given sort of results globally, then why not we use it here in the country? And companies, a lot of leading players that we are already working, not just in insurance but other sectors, they've already started using. Now, gamification for user engagement. So let me just talk about which are the aspect. Customer loyalty could be one of the example. Behavioral changes, that could be there. Data collection, which is also another aspect. Now this is one example. Can you play the audio? So this is all states say. So there is an incentive for safe driving. So gamified way in which So this is very, very important. You talked about risk, and you talked about what is the mitigation aspect and things like that. This is a fantastic way where insurers can look at creating gamified way of engaging the users, mitigate the risk, at the same time lower the cost of whatever insurance, and also doing social good, right? So this is win-win proposition all across, and this is one example which is already live. There are many other examples. We are working with some of these global players. They are benefiting from this.
Take a second.
This is another
Reflect.
Life insurer or
Look how
insurer.
far you've come. That 5K may not be within reach just yet, but you're working on it. Closer to your goal every day. And your goal is our goal, because together we are vitality. We get rewarded daily for being active. We discover new places because we are better drivers. Our money goes further because we bank well. And our discovery miles go even further, making them more valuable than cash. How about shopping and being rewarded for it? That's us. Because we prioritize healthier living. Discounted gym fees are life. That's what we get for focusing on our fitness. We travel in style and experience new destinations. So let's do it. Make new rules. Crush your goals. Whatever they may be. Show the world who you really are.
So this is Discovery Insurance in South Africa using gamified ways, journeys within the app for healthier lifestyle and in turn benefiting not just the user but reducing the the cost as well for them as well, and not just benefiting the community as well. So these are the ways in which gamification can be used. Now, what are the gamification use cases in India as a country? If you look at it, what are the trends applicable? We can look at for points for safe driving habits, which is general insurers can look at. We can look at rewards for consistent health monitoring, which is there. Some of the customers that we are already working in India, they've already started using those gamified way. We can also use gamified way for B2B as well. Renewal discounts, another example could be for policy terms, it could be there for benefits. How do you, it's a concept selling, right? How do you explain to somebody who's a normal human being out there, in a gamified way, you can explain these policies, policy terms, and especially this becomes that much more engaging, that much more easier for you to serve the purpose and benefit the user. Points and rewards for referrals. So these are multiple examples. Loyalty rewards, recognition. These could be another things. Now another important aspect which is very important for us to understand how chatbots evolved and how they are benefiting the businesses today globally. There are insurance process through chatbots. You have micro bots, you have form fill-ups which are happening through bots. You can have in terms of queries which are there for support, they are being handled by chatbots. So these are, as I mentioned about buying policy, could be there for renewal reminders, could be there for claim processing, could be there for customer support. These are various examples which are there. Now this is example for Gecko, where there is a assist policy holders in inquiries, whatever inquiries they are having. And this is where you can not just keep your total cost of ownership lesser, but you can have a very well-trained bot available 24/7, 365 days a year, who doesn't take leave, like any other normal human assistant that would be available with you, right? So this is one great example. Now, what is driving the conversion, what is driving the engagement is not a tech which is implemented, but essentially something which is trained, something which is conversational, something which is talking the language which human beings understand. So if you look at in India, where chatbot implementation would be helpful would be for multilingual conversational bots. These are going to be the examples, right? So these are, as I talked about, customer support and query resolution, premium payment reminders, emergency assistance. These are, again, could be there for roadside assistance and so on and so forth. Interactive policy, calculators and appointment scheduling. So these are various examples that we can look at. Now comes the another aspect of artificial intelligence. Whole world is talking about it. So world is divided. There are people who are talking about it, and there are fence sitters who are trying to figure out what is in it store for them and what can be done. But there is definitely a lot of talk and a lot of interventions which are happening. So if you look at it, it could be in multiple use cases. One of the examples for a global client that we're working for a fraud detection, where people are looking for the claims for a fraud detection. AI is being leveraged. It is also being done for underwriting process, where you can do the underwriting and risk modeling. So this is example. We have seen it with Zurich. More than 100 plus use cases are there where AI models have been implemented and they are benefiting them to keep the cost lower, deliver far better results, and at the same time have higher engagement and adoption with the segments. Now, what are the use cases in India? We can look at it in terms of underwriting recommendations. We can look at it in predictive analytics of customer behavior and trends. We can look at for fraud detection as well. Now, this is one area where you have, I'm not too sure, what is the actual, sort of a fraud rate globally at the industry level or for a specific insurers. But if you're looking for, the moment you look at more and more penetration, more and more policy issuance, then obviously if your percentage remains same, then in terms of absolute terms, your frauds are going to be there, right? How do you ensure that you have very mature process internally? And honestly speaking, you won't be able to do it manually with whatever workforce you want to deploy for a fraud detection. Either you're going to longer the process, or if you're looking for, a lot of places, if you're looking for where faster sort of a claim settlement and things like that, you are actually having a catch-22. You do a faster settlement, or you follow all the processes, and if you do all this manually, then how do you ensure that it is faster, it's smooth, efficient, it is benefiting the consumer, and at the same time you're not unnecessarily sort of issuing any fraud claims. So technology is going to play a very important role, and AI especially is helping. I want to give you one example for some banks that we worked and implemented AI solution for transaction monitoring, live transaction monitoring. Today in the era, nobody really, people who are sitting here, how many of us might have walked into a bank branch, maybe last 1 month, 6 months, ever, not required, because everything is happening online, whether it's right from fund transfer to payments and everything that ever you want to do with the bank, you're doing it online, right? And it's not just for us sitting here in this conference, but across the country, especially in India, we can talk about that, right? So if you're looking for how these frauds at the bank level are being detected and being monitored, AI is playing a very, very important role. If you take the same leap here as well, for insurers, for fraud detection and ensuring that the fraud percentage is lesser and lesser and as close as possible to zero, then the AI can play a very, very important role. Then your document verification and processing, which is there. NLP for policy underwriting, which is also another important aspect that we can look at. Then comes the low-code, no-code platform. Ever-evolving needs of consumers put pressure on businesses and the technology folks to implement solutions which are faster, efficient, having a lower cost of ownership. How do you take care of this scenario? So you have multiple things to look at. You have competition as well. You're not the only one who is doing this thing. And that is where your low-code, no-code platforms can really play a very important role. If you as the organization implement low-code, no-code platform, then your ability to respond back to the market, business requirements, ever-evolving consumer needs becomes that much more smoother, and your TCO decreases. Whether you go for one system, so there are various systems out there. That is up to you. Now, what are the benefits? It gives you faster deployment, development and deployment, which I talked about. Increased flexibility. You can change, implement the changes at the speed of thought. That is important. You can also do enhanced collaboration. So if you have a low-code, no-code platform, and if you're looking for integration using APIs, that would be very smooth and faster. Scalable solution. If you are looking for a pilot project and you want to scale it up in terms of volume, you do a pilot for a particular geography and then you want to extend it to other geographies. You're doing a small pilot, India as a country, for example, you're doing it a pilot in a small state, start with Goa and then you want to extrapolate to entire west, south, east and north, then all that is possible. Scalability is a great solution. Now, what are the global examples and how companies, global insurers are leveraging from it? AXA, for example, they have implemented OutSystems and they reduced their development time by 50%. Any insurer, IT team, IT leadership, even business leadership, if they are told you can reduce their development time by 50%, obviously it accelerates the speed at which you can deploy your solutions, right? That is something which is fantastic for business folks and IT folks. And no wonder they have implemented. Similarly, can you play this? Yeah, so another is Zurich. They've implemented, Mendix.
With the customer are appropriate and are rich, are digital, and they are able to manage the products that we sell them in an effective and meaningful way. So Zurich's journey with Mendix's low-code platform really started last year, and I think it was very evident that although waterfall as a project management methodology has suited us very well, it's less well suited to those customer interaction systems where you need responsive to market changes and customer changes. And so we were looking for a platform in order to deliver on that for our customers, and Mendix provided that solution in a box.
I think what we found is what was really important on the journey was to get early proof points, and those proof points are evident throughout the business, whether it's in the customer-facing, customer engagement elements of the systems, or whether it's more in the back office systems where we can take a lot of waste out the back end.
Very often with our underwriting applications or customer-focused applications, we can make operational savings of anything between £50,000 and £100,000 a year because you're just engineering out manual, time-consuming processes. And certainly in the customer space, we're looking at deliver a significant, multi-million pound increase in business through digitisation and new platforms.
So the terrorism data application is a policy administration system where our underwriters can go to create and manage terrorism policies.
We've managed to re-platform that system from a legacy.
So as you can see here, Zurich has got almost 50,000 to 100,000 pounds of saving per app per year, right? I mean, that's mind-blowing. If you can look at in the context of India, obviously the cost of engineers, developers is going to be definitely lesser, but is going to be nominal? Answer is no. Definitely significant impact. So you get faster go-to-market, you get development time which is reduced to half, you have saving in terms of development cost, flexibility, scalability, multiple aspects. So essentially control in the hand of the business rather than having dependence on IT entirely. And that, I think, if you ask any business leader, that is something which they always looked for. So this is another aspect. Then you have Microsoft Power Apps as well. Multiple use cases are there globally. So these are various platforms which are available. Now what all we can look at in India for what kind of benefit? It could be done as a silo for a particular application. It could be looked at the org level. You can start with a small pilot and then go ahead and implement for complete end-to-end solutions at your enterprise. Digital portals could be done. You can do agent management portals. But this is an important aspect that we need to look at. It's only a function of time. Take my words, it's a function of time. Either you start today or you start tomorrow. But low code, no code is here to stay. In what form and shape you start, which platform you choose, that's entirely your choice, right? It's like this. It's like any other necessary in life, and there's a necessary. You can't live without operating systems today, right? In any enterprise, and so is the case. So these are going to be your operating systems, so to speak, for your businesses, yeah. And that is what people should look at. Customer feedback, satisfaction app. So if you look at it in the large insurance landscape, B2C is there, B2B is there, you have ops, you have agent portals and things like that. You can start in any of these aspects wherever your business priorities are there, business challenges are there, or the benefits that you want to accrue. And then based on the benefits and the advantages, you can sort of scale it up across the enterprise, right? Now comes the data analytics and insurance. When you have all these kind of systems, a lot of data which is getting generated, sitting with the data seriously doesn't help you. What helps is the insight that you gather out of those data points and deliver something which is better, efficient, benefit not just your users but benefit the enterprise and the business as well. And this is where, so statistics are there. The CRO tools have given an average, benefit in terms of 223%. So these are certain stats which are available. 50% of businesses believe that CRO is part of their effective, digital marketing strategy, and they seriously lag big time if they don't use it. 2 out of 3 businesses in the world, they believe that they don't have properly structured CROs. So CROs there in some form and shape, but it's not properly structured, and hence they are not able to accrue the total benefits that they can get out of it. So what are the things that we can look at? You can have maximize ROI. So if you're looking for any implementation, take for example one of the customers that we have done recently, the implementation of end-to-end portal. We have the data points to talk to business in terms of KPI, what was there earlier in terms of your footfall and the conversions, what is there now, what kind of policy issuance you are doing online, and how this is the benefit which is there for the business. It could be there in terms of competitive advantage as well. More and more digital first companies, when they are there, obviously it's a competition for you. You cannot control the competition, but you can definitely leverage from the technology and innovation which is available at your doorstep to be ahead of the curve, and that is what we are talking about. Then you have data-driven decisions. If essentially you're going to the leadership team and asking for any investment, asking for budgets, there would be data points. What is the cost? What is the benefit? What is the time period you're talking about? Do you have those numbers? And if you have these numbers at your fingertips, you are able to make those decisions. You are able to also evaluate, measure, calibrate, and constantly keep innovate. Then the UX and CX researchers led innovation, which is also very important. So this is one of the example for a client. This was before. Very low conversions, very high drop-off rates, and we did complete end-to-end implementation for them, which has not just surpassed their expectation in terms of experience, in terms of the number and the conversions that they were looking for, but most importantly, it is in terms of Lighthouse score better than digital first companies which are there in the country, right? So that speaks for itself. Yep. So these are the use cases for policy conversion rate. You can have multiple KPIs. In fact, it's like a complete blank slate for you. You decide what KPIs you want to measure, and analytics can help you, achieve that. It depends on the business and the role that you have in those business segments, right? So thank you all. If there are any questions, fine. Otherwise, I'll be available offline as well. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. I think you very nicely explained all the use cases, global as well as Indian. So there is no denying the fact that technology is playing a very vital role in, I would say, transforming the insurance buying experience for the end users. Having said that, I think if you compare it with certain other services which end users tend to buy, like for example, banking services or, doing flight reservation or, railway ticket booking and all,
sure.
There's definitely a clarity of decision wherein they really know if saying personalization or otherwise, they really know that this is what I'm going to buy and this is what
sure.
I'm going to get. Whereas insurance by its inherent nature as such is very tricky and very difficult for an end user, and that's why they rely more on agents and other
sure.
third-party things. So how do you really foresee adoption of technology or AI in specific in kind of shaping this kind of decision making or making things easier for the end users themselves?
Absolutely, it's a fantastic question. I really compliment you for that. The first thing I talked about gamification. So the answer lies in your question itself. It's not like merchant is buying on e-commerce, right? It's not like buying a shirt or a trouser, not even an electronic gadget, right? It's not specs, it's a concept. And hence, and second, it's regulated as well. So you have to take care of the regulatory compliance. And that is where, while there is an inherent challenge, gamification is the way forward. Combination of gamification and AI. So if you look at it in terms of customer acquisition, because concept selling essentially is going to be there at the time when you have to explain the concept, you have to look at suitability and so on and so forth. Gamification is the way, which will help you bridge the gap between you as an insurer and consumer at the other side of the table, who seriously does not understand the jargons, and you do not really want to talk to him in terms of jargonized manner in any way. Why, if you dig deeper, a normal human being who's buying insurance, not just in the country but other, and especially in the country, go to an agent, because agent is able to answer the queries. Agent is able to tell the scenarios. Sometimes it could be in terms of risk and mitigation of that risk, sometimes in terms of benefits, sometimes it could be tax related. Now, these are various use cases and scenarios which are going to be there. That is where gamification plays a very, very important role, that you let that gamification be done by, you have even an insurance agent, you have thousands of them, right? Lakhs of them. And you have best, like insurers, insurance agents. So you have very high numbers, but not all of them are equally good for any company, right? Why? Where is the difference comes? The difference comes ability of that person or individual to understand that concept and then communicate across to that person who's coming for insurance and buying that service or a product, to tell, bridging the gap, right? Product remains same even for any company without naming. Whether all of them are doing the exactly same precision, answer is no. But the moment you bring this gamification, you take the best of those gamified way and you can bring the consistency as well. Another important aspect is your best-selling insurance agent in a particular geography cannot sell in the entire country, but the best gamified way actually cut this across the region. So if you invest time, effort in that, do those gamified solutions, solution is live, it's there on the app, there on your website, it's actually available to across the country. So essentially you're getting your best insurance agent who is bridging the gap through a gamified way. This is one. Two is artificial intelligence. You can also look at AI, which combined with the gamification can help you leverage even higher percentage. In fact, we can discuss a little bit deeper about the use cases, how you can combine these both, and there's a fantastic gain to be made. Yeah?